2023 just came to an end, and what a year it was. I would say that last year was probably one of my most formative learning experience kind of years that I've had since 2020, right before I moved to Miami in 2021. And I learned a lot of lessons this year that I wish I knew before and would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of heartache, a lot of money, and just a lot of peace of mind. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The first thing that I learned, and one of the biggest regrets that I have on 2023, was not being on offense as much as I should have been. I played a lot of defense. I played a lot of reactionary moves. I played a lot of, especially in business and even personal life and even my mentality, my mindset, it had shifted a little bit. And I think it shifted from a place of attack, risk to, wow, I'm responsible for a lot of people, right? Like I run hundreds of thousands of dollars in payroll. I'm responsible for so many people around me. All of these people have people that rely on them and they rely on me for their income. And this was the first year where it really hit hard. I was like, wow, I'm responsible for a lot of people. And that kind of weighs heavy on you, especially at 23 years old and you're used to taking risk. And the downside of that is it made me a little bit more defensive. If you think of a sport like football, right? If you're constantly worrying about just defense, if you do not put points on the board, you lose. And that was a big mistake that I made this year. And it's one that I want to give to you guys so that you're aware of is you can play defense and you can be smart, but to always remain on the offensive. For example, in business, we had a good year. It was a very, very big growth year compared to last year and even the year before. It was the most money we've ever made, but I fell way short of my goals. And I think we could have gotten a lot closer than we did if we would have been more offensive minded. Like instead of waiting for things to change or, oh, we're just in a bad time, July is a slow month or December is a slow month, putting our foot on the gas, actually grabbing life and the things that are out of our control and actually doing something about it was something that we should have done more. And I didn't really know and I wasn't really cognizant of this until the end of the year, and it cost us a lot of money. So for you guys, a good example of this would be instead of you waiting to have things come to you or the right time to do something or, oh, I don't know, I'm scared, I need these to line up. Like, fuck that. Just go all in after what you want to do and actually go make what you want happen, right? That's the definition of offense. Offense is go out and go after it. Go for its neck. Step on their throats. Have no mercy for your competition. Actually go after your dreams full force and full pursuit. And we kind of pulled back a little bit on that. And that's my first regret of 2023. My second biggest lesson of 2023 is actually a story that I have never shared before. And I can't believe that I'm telling you guys this. About 2 years ago, so I say this is 2023, but this was like the big lesson of the year I learned. About 2 years ago at this point, I gave an individual that I trusted and that I deemed someone that was sort of a mentor of mine, a lot older than me. This person is in the car business. And if you guys have seen like some crazy cars on my story, like Bugattis, crazy stuff, those all came from this connection of mine. And this connection was someone that I thought was trustworthy, someone that showed me a lot of proof of things, someone that did a really good job of like portraying this sort of, this is real and everything I say is real. And if you don't believe me, here's proof. And I look at everything very critically. And I was like, you know what? I trust this guy. So he came to me with a business opportunity and was like, hey, long story short, and I don't know how to tell you guys this, it sounds so funny. There's this car. I can't say too many details because I don't know how the ramifications of this may go. But basically there's this car. There's one of like 200 in the world. Very, very, very multi-million dollar car, old car, collector car in another country. And we can basically pay these people money to get this car out and we will get the car and we'll sell the car. We'll make a lot of money. And everything that I was shown made sense. Everything added up. Even from a critical view, I was like, okay, like this sounds crazy, but like I like risk. I do crazy things all the time. This sounds like a good idea. So long story short, I gave this guy a couple $100,000 to then go to Mexico, do some shady stuff with this car. And it's a US title. It's not like we're doing anything illegal. It's just the people that have the car are maybe not the kind of people you want to do business with, AKA the cartel. And I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I'm young. I got a lot of money. I'm making a lot of money. Let's take a risk. And again, I'm honestly not regretful of doing this because of the story. This is the coolest story ever. And I'll talk about this in detail at a later time. But I gave this guy that much money and I haven't seen a dime of it. It's gone. I haven't seen my money. I honestly, at this point, I don't think I will get the money back. He says he's going to give us our money back, pay me. Me and my friend are also in this, but I personally don't believe the money will come. And the lesson here is if it is too good to be true, it is. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So I am very grateful that I didn't make this mistake when I have tens of millions of dollars, right? I'm only in the 7-figure range. I'm not in the 8 figures yet. And if I would have made this mistake then, it could have cost me millions of dollars. But now it was a young, dumb decision. Like, who in their right mind goes and gives the cartel money to get a car and get it over the border, even if it's a US title? I don't know, but that was my second biggest lesson. And it's a cool story. I'll tell the full story one day. There's a lot of details I cannot say because when you deal with that kind of stuff, it gets kind of sketchy, right? It's a kind of a gray area. But the lesson being, one, don't give a lot of money to people that you've only known for a little bit of time, because people can do a very good job of acting like they have your best interest in mind. Even if they show you proof, even if they show you that they like do things for you and whatever, they build trust, you can still get fucked. And that happened to me, happened to my friend. And yeah, that was a big learning lesson. The third lesson that I learned this year was that the memories you make are priceless, but at the same time, you won't remember half of it. And guys, this year I traveled more than any other year. I think I started the year in Tulum, and then I went to Europe for summer. I went to Marbella, which I fell in love with. I had literally the time of my life. Like this summer, I genuinely got to live out one of my biggest sort of dreams or fantasies, which was be the young kid that goes to Europe and spends a ridiculous amount of money. Another learning lesson was don't travel with people that don't have money. There's a caveat. I'm happy to have paid for my friends, but I went with a lot of people that didn't really have the funds or the means to actually go do the level of things we wanted to do. So then when we got there, I wasn't going to be like, oh, you know what? Let's save money. I don't want to do this. And I ended up paying for everybody. So I spent 70 grand in 2 weeks going to Europe. I went to Marbella. I went to Mykonos afterwards, and I had the time of my life. I mean, some of the coolest memories. I was driving supercars up mountains. I met some of those beautiful, amazing women in my life. I went to parties where I turned around and Jay Alvarez and like supermodels are sitting right behind me. And it was just super, super cool. It was well worth it. I don't regret a second of going, but at the same time, I don't remember half of it. And it's not like I was like drunk out of my mind the whole time. There's this weird kind of bittersweet thing I learned this year, and especially like psychedelics. If you like mushrooms, I'm a big mushroom guy. I don't do any drugs, but I do partake in mushrooms, right? And mushrooms give you a very like analytical view of the world. Like you're very perceptive, you're very retrospective in yourself and your mind. It's the most beautiful moment of your life. But then when it's over, it's like you don't remember it. And I'll get little flashes, but I'll think back to like, this was like the most fun week of my life. And I don't remember half of it. I have photos, I have videos, but it doesn't do it justice. Like, for example, that snapshot of your life is gone. It's a bittersweet thing. You got to understand the memories that you have are the most important, valuable things that you have. Your money doesn't matter. None of the things that you have matter when you die, other than your memories. And then obviously things like who were you as a person? What did you do? Whatever, right? But on the flip side of that, they are the most important thing. You won't remember half of them. So it's like this weird balance that for the first time in my life, I really, really recognized. And I was like, okay, these beautiful moments are fleeting. They're beautiful. It's so meaningful. The fun times with friends and with people you care about, and you're on the other side of the world doing the funnest thing you could have ever dreamed of when you were like a broke kid a couple years ago, but then it just disappears and it ends and you come back to reality, and reality is just your work and what you do day to day and what are you working on in the pursuit of excellence and things like that. So it's beautiful. It's well worth it. And I don't regret a second, but you need to also just be aware that the thing is fleeting, right? It's like all these girls that go to these music festivals and they do drugs all the time. They're never happy. And it's because you can never constantly maintain that state of happiness. So understand that you can go get it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, go to Europe, go party, go whatever. But when you come back home, it's gone and you're back to the real world and you're back to reality. And it doesn't make it bad. You just need to understand that going into it. The fourth lesson kind of ties into that, and it is something that I made a mistake of this year, and I think I've fixed in my own mind. I used to have this really bad, for whatever reason, limiting belief of like, if I'm not work at my desk with my computer, I'm wasting my life, I'm wasting my time, nothing else matters. And that's completely false. To be quite honest with you guys, I make more money going and living my life than I do sitting here and working 1% more at my computer. The things that I can get done on my computer versus the things I can get done going and meeting people, building relationships, creating content, traveling around the world, doing meaningful, inspirational things for people, it pales in comparison. And that was a massive limiting belief that I recognized kind of, I think like when I came home from Europe at the end of July, it was like August, September time. And I was like, why am I limiting my life so much? Why am I like, no, I can't go to the cigar lounge, I gotta work. No, I can't go on that trip, I gotta work. I can't go there, I gotta work. Because that was a limiting belief. Now there is a time and place for work. There is 100% a time where you sit down, no distractions, and you work. That's all you do. But I was using it as like cope. I was using it as an excuse to not do things. And it's not because I was like scared of doing things. I guess this became so comfortable sitting at my desk and locking myself in, not leaving my apartment for weeks, day at a time, other than to go to the gym, became a routine. And the tricky thing about routines, even if it's a positive one, eventually it has negative effects. And I started to see the effects of that. I was not happy. I was sitting in my house all day. I wasn't living life. So lesson number 4 is live hard. So I adopted the ideology of, okay, I'm going to start going out a little bit. I'm going to go on that yacht day and drink. I'm going to go, I don't go to clubs. It's just not fun to me, but I'm going to go on that trip. I'm going to go on this day trip. I'm going to go do whatever, but I'm still going to work my ass off and I'm just going to live hard. And it served me very well. I'm in a lot better place mentally and I'm a lot happier. And on the flip side, I make more money. I make cooler content and I do cooler stuff. I have cooler memories. I'm a more well-rounded person. So instead of you living this reserved life, I don't want to go out and I got to work. Work. Stop being a loser and stop coping for the fact that you don't want to do anything else and go live hard, party hard, work out hard, fight hard, train, shoot, drive, fish, whatever. Go hard on life. Because guys, I've talked about it before. I lost a friend not too long ago and he was a young guy, was balling. He lived hard. He was always partying, going out with girls, doing crazy stuff. He went out the way he lived, right? He crashed a Lamborghini and he died. But he was such a good example, and that's kind of stuck in my head. It made me take a look at my life in the same sense. Is like he lived so hard that I don't feel bad. Obviously, it's horrible what happened to him and his family misses him. But I don't have this like regret for him of like, oh, well, he didn't get to do these things because he lived hard. And you never know when you're going to die. You never know when your last day on earth is. You never know when that last trip is with your friends. You never know when that last date with a pretty girl, that last boat day with your boys, whatever it is. You don't know when the last one is. And if you just wrap yourself up in this like cope kind of ideology of like work, when you don't actually have to, you're wasting your life. And one day you'll regret that and you won't be able to get it back. Lesson number 5 was a painful one this year. And a lot of my circle has changed up a little bit. And I want to say this in the most respectful way, but there were some people that I got very close with that I always had a bad gut feeling of. Like there was always like a little glimmer of like, I don't trust that person, or like I wouldn't depend my life with this person, or I wouldn't leave and go to war and leave my woman with this person. Like just little tiny things. And I overlooked it because a lot of people have told me before that like, you're just too hard on people, you're too rough, whatever, which may be true. I have like a traumatic past. Maybe I'm too defensive and too hard on people, but I ended up being right. I ended up being right about a couple of people and it came back to bite me in the ass. It cost me a lot of money. It cost me a lot of heartache because guys, the worst thing ever is to be betrayed by somebody that you care about. Like if you're boys with somebody, at least for me, I'm so loyal. Like if you're my boy, if we go out and you get in a fight, you pick a fight, you start it, you're completely in the wrong, I am the first person to jump in the middle of that thing and defend you. I'll be the first person. I will go sit in jail with you. I don't care. But other people don't share that. And it kind of broke my heart this year. A lot of people, not a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but a couple of people in my life that I thought were boys, that I thought would ride with me, that we had plans with in the future, like big things, right? Kind of stabbed me in the back. And these were not like little things of me being just dramatic. Like these are real sort of treacherous, disloyal, sneaky behavior. And I don't let that slide. And you shouldn't either. And if someone shows you who they are, believe them. That was one of the like biggest lessons my mom ever taught me. If someone shows you their true side or their personality, you believe them. Don't not listen to your gut because you're being mean or because you're being rude or because, oh, like you're just expecting the worst in people. Because sometimes it's true. Give everybody a chance. Don't be a pessimist and just nihilistic about everything. That was a really big lesson, was I let the wrong people that I knew from the moment, I had a gut feeling and I just didn't listen to my gut. I let them get too close and it caused me mental stress. It cost me money and it's just not fun. It's just not something you want to do. So for you guys, if there are people in your life where you have that like little thing, your gut, you can just see something, right? Maybe it's how they treated another person, or maybe they fucked somebody else over. And you're like, I don't know, it wasn't me. Actually, yeah, if they would do it to them, why wouldn't they do it to you? Be aware of that, be cognizant of that, and so important. Do not let the wrong people get too close to you. And the final life lesson that I learned in 2023, and is super hard hitting for you guys as well, is there is no correct path to a lot of things. Now, hear me out. Business is the best example of this. Guys, business by definition, entrepreneurship, business, making money online, whatever it is the Wild West. It is uncharted territory. It is unpioneered. Like no one has done a lot of these things. Like for example, your Andrew Tate is the first person to have ever done what he did in the way he did it. There's been big people before like Tai Lopez, whoever, but like the way Tate did it, he pioneered. That was his way. Now there are principles you can listen to. You go listen to principles of marketing, copywriting, psychology, sales processes, right? Like these are like just tactical, evergreen fundamentals of business. Those don't change. But one massive mistake I made this year, and I just had a team meeting with my guys about this, was we listened to a lot of people that were experts and that were ahead of us and we're like, oh, this is the right way to do this. And it bombed for us. It didn't work. It went horribly. It cost me millions of dollars. It cost me headache. It cost us a lot of lost time. And it just was not a good deal. And then as soon as I started getting fed up with that this year, and I was like, you know what? Fuck what these guys say, whoever these experts are. Let's just do things our way. Let's do things the way that we think we should be doing them. Things started going way better. Things ticked up. And now that's what we're doing going forward. If I would have learned this lesson sooner, I would have saved millions of dollars and a lot of wasted time. And life is the same way. Like guys, there are tenets and principles of life. There's a fundamental sort of aspect of life. But at the end of the day, there is no right way to do everything. There is a right and wrong morality wise and whatever, but there is no correct path. There's no blueprint. There is no exact whatever to live your life. Maybe if you want to go get into sales and make XYZ money, yeah, there's a blueprint, right? You get a client, you learn sales, you do it. That's a blueprint. But to build a business, or to do something that's never been done, or to become a person that no one has ever seen, or a brand that no one has ever seen, which is what I'm trying to do, there is no right way. Like you're making it up as you go. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I made in the last couple of years. But as always, mistakes are lessons. There is no losses, there's only lessons. And the more lessons you accumulate, the bigger your wins are going to be. And I know for a fact that 2024 is going to be a massive year. I can feel it in my gut. All these numerology guys are saying it is. God is telling me it is. I won't go into detail, but I had some of the craziest godly experiences of my life just a couple of nights ago when I was out with my team. And I can feel it, guys. I can feel the energy in a way that I haven't really felt since like 2021 when I moved to Miami. I can feel it. And I know that this year is going to be massive for everybody, for you guys, for us, for my team, for our brand, for Closer Cartel. It's a huge year for everybody. So what I want you to do is take these lessons, take them to heart, listen to them, and hopefully they can help you guys. And as always, God bless. I cannot wait for this year. I'm so excited. And yeah, let's have a hell of a year, guys.